So if you're one of those people out there who thinks GeForce GPUs should never be mixed with Radeon GPUs, you're going to think this video is cringe. I'm going to show you it can be done. What's going on, everyone? Joelomaniac here. So I am making this video because I'm kind of one person who likes to kind of mess around with technology, try different things. When I was going around on the internet and I was looking up the benefits of having multiple GPUs in your system to do things like streaming, to do things like video creation like this, trying to improve the overall quality of what I do. Because as you can imagine, when you run on one GPU, your system will use that GPU for multitasking. So like, for example, I have my Discord open, I have this going, I have game applications in the background that are constantly running updates or something along those lines. And one of the things I worry about is like, if I'm going to do something, like if I do intend to stream again, how do I get the best quality so my games can play well and my stream could show the best quality for my audience? And that kind of led me down the path of multiple GPUs. Now, if you're like me, you probably have a single GPU in your system. So as you can see here, if you've never had to run any kind of diagnostic checking tool to see what the hardware is as a computer, over here, so I'm gonna do it over there, DXDIAG. This works on all Windows computers. You actually have to type it in that way in order to run it. And it is a DirectX diagnostic. So this tool pulls up this right here. As you can see, it's gonna pull up another one there. And that's because my main display is on the other side. And so I can check out to see, this is my computer, blah, 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 how much RAM I have, the type of processor I have, and the thing you want to know is display. So I have an AMD RX 6600. So if you're someone like me who they build their own custom computers, but they put more money into the core components. And so this whole thing led to, what am I going to do about making so my GPU that I have in here, my 6600, is the core GPU I use for all of my gaming. But what if I wanted my streaming, OBS, to run off something else? When I was looking through my old parts, I found my Asus TUF Gaming GeForce GTX 1650. This is a very basic GPU. I want to say I only paid like maybe $200 for it. And it literally, as you can see, it has no power connection. It's literally a plug it into your motherboard and let her rip. I love this GPU. It worked for a long period of time until I got my recent one. I honestly got to say, like, in terms of if you just want a basic GPU, you can't go wrong with these ones that don't have any power supply, especially if you're limited on ports and connections. Would I recommend this now for games that are like playing Cyberpunk on high end, Call of Duty Warzone, or anything that requires a lot of graphics processing? No. This is a good basic starter GPU and it'll handle games, but it won't go out of its way to overperform. Again, there's no power input, basic 2-fan cooling, literally just goes in. I'm going to cut to me recording with my phone because I'm going to obviously shut my computer down when I do this, but it did raise the question of what would happen if I put a Radeon 6600 GPU in my computer and a GeForce 1650 in my computer. Can it run both? Let's find out. So with anything you do with your computer, I highly recommend you first shut it down. Hi, you can see me in the reflection in my glass. I actually haven't messed with my build since I built it. So on YouTube, this is your first look into my computer. So the idea is I'm going to put this GPU, as you can see here, let me turn on a light. So you can see I have my Radeon 6600. So this is my M.2 storage, that's my OS, and I have another M.2 SSD right here that I can put in, and I think, if you can see it, I can put another one under my GPU. So the reason I don't want to put one behind a GPU is because the GPU gets hot and I don't have any kind of heat sink or shield on either of those two. I don't have one in there because I'm actually going to be saving up for a 4 terabyte at some point, and obviously I could put 2 more sticks of RAM in here, but for the time being, this is all it's going to do. Now the thing that's cool about my case, besides the fact that it keeps everything cool, is that I can actually get my phone in the little crevice here so you can see me getting my GPU in here. I don't want to cause any issues with any cables that are existing in there. So let me get my phone out of there. So I want to push you in, and that way it can sit just like so. As you can see, we're all in there. I'm not a huge fan of the floppiness of this, and that's actually just because this is all loose plastic. But it is in there. It is good. And if you ever want to know what the inside of my computer looks like, Well, there you go. All right, so it's on. Pardon the mess here. See my microphone? We have BIOS. Only because you can't really see me starting it up and running it while that's doing a thing. There we go, make sure it's maxed out. And we are on. Like the loveliness of mess on my desk. You're saying to yourself, well, Maniac, how come your other monitor isn't working? Oh, it must not have worked. Well, it did work. The problem is I now need to install GeForce onto my computer. So we do the Express install, and it's going to install this driver. Now again, as you can see in the back here, this is plugged into my 34-inch. This is plugged into the GeForce. So I have two different GPUs here. Enjoy the mess on my desk. And I'm running that monitor exclusively on the GeForce 1650, that monitor on the Radeon 6600. Can set it up. Now, the fun part is going to be, what do you do with this? Because now I have two GPUs. I have an independent one just for my gaming, and which is going to be my 6600. That's what's going to run my OS. That's what's going to run everything. The one thing that's great about GeForce compared to Radeon is fantastic for game optimization. It's fantastic for running games themselves, in my opinion, and they cost so much less than GeForce GPUs. So to have that for gaming, I think is fantastic. Now, why would you install another GPU? Well, I can run OBS exclusively streaming from the 1650 because I don't need high-end graphics processing in order to actually stream. I don't need it to just run OBS. And the fantastic thing about GeForce is you can set specific programs to run that GPU. And I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. So now you open up OBS and you're going to want to go to your settings. You'll want to go over here to your video. Make sure that's at the desired setting that you want. Go to output. And if you go down here to where it says show both, or to where it shows both AMD and NVIDIA. So I will select NVIDIA and, you know, set your settings to however you want. I'm going to have to redo my settings, set them up again, and make sure you hit apply and okay. Alrighty, had to do a little bit of messing with my settings in order to get everything to run correctly. I had to actually reset up my inputs and everything like that. So just be warned, if you're going to do this and you're going to add this GPU, you are resetting things up because you're basically changing from what you had it before. Now, what I will say is the ability to have your streaming platform, if you will, the ability to have your streaming software run through a different GPU does take the strain off your GPU you use for gaming. So you're not overworking one, might cause lag and issues. You can independently play your games through your GPU for gaming like I'm going to do. And if you're going to stream, or in this case, I record videos, everything's running through my other older, better GPU. Now you can definitely have it the other way around if you want. Do whatever you want, play with the settings. This was just me trying to see if I could actually do it because I always thought that the GPU had to be the same when you hook in two. And to be honest with you, I'm actually looking forward to trying to test this out because I want to see how well I can handle things. Like if I set up my Edge, my Chrome, my Discord, and all that stuff to run through my NVIDIA GPU, then I can specifically and independently just use my Radeon GPU for running my operating system and running my video games. Hopefully this answered the question whether or not you could do it for you. I know it definitely did for me because I mean, if I'm going to throw things in my computer, then I know how to fix them. So you don't have to worry about taking that risk. But if this video was helpful, if you like this kind of content, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll see y'all next time.